Hi, welcome to Laurafundora. Today I'm going to show you how I made this topiary fish. So, on cardboard, and I wanted it to be kind of like the Nemo fish, you know, the clownfish sort of thing. So I drew it all out on cardboard the size I wanted. And then I got this mesh wire. I think it's made for like fencing material and stuff, but I liked how large the openings were because that's where I'm going to stick the plants in. Rolled it up and clipped it, so I created kind of a cylinder look. And then I started on one end and I just started clipping and folding it together and clipping and folding and clipping the wires sort of thing. And then that's created the mouth of the fish. And then I repeated that process on the other end, but I didn't narrow it down as much for the back end of the fish sort of thing. Made it really strong and secure because this is going to be stuffed full of soil and I don't want it popping or anything like that going on. Okay, so then after that step, I started tracing out the fins and the top part and eye and how big I wanted it out of cardboard. So I cut it all out and then I placed it onto the body of the fish and kind of eyed it. Then I traced that on some pretty thin plywood and jigsaw cut that out sort of thing. And the next process, I just sanded all the rough edges and drew out where I wanted the lines of the fins and that sort of thing. Started painting. So I started with black and then I had some leftover off-white paint and I just started painting the rest white. And that is kind of the detailed part of the fish, and I needed to figure out how I was going to attach it to the wire mesh body. And this took a while to figure it out. I started with like little scraps of plywood that I just inserted in there and started screwing the fins together, and I eventually realized that I needed some heftier blocks of wood in there to attach to the main post area and also the fin, the back fin. So the back fin I wanted kind of to wiggle a little bit in the wind, so I attached a hinge, like an old door hinge, to a 2x4 and then the fin to that. And it was wiggling way too much, so I just kind of stabilized it with a longer screw into another wood piece sort of thing. So it does wiggle a little bit, but it's pretty secure. Okay, so the main post is much larger than a 2x4. I'm not sure, it was just the leftover wood I had from another project, and I just cut an opening at the bottom of the wire body and I just stuffed it in there. And this was a good like main center point to attach all the fins to and stabilize it and stuff like that. So I kind of figured that out after I made the base of this structure. So I got a large plywood board for the base. It's a little bit bigger than the fish. And I had these, I purchased some a metal 90-degree angle. I am not sure what it's called, but it had a bunch of holes in it, pretty stiff metal pieces. So I attached one on one side and the other on the other side, so it was like a good T structure sort of thing. So the plywood base, the post, and then these metal pieces. And I just screwed those in. And then I wanted more strength because the winds here are pretty strong. So I added 2x4s in a triangle shape and screwed those into the main post area. And then I started painting the base. So the base is all black to match with the bark that we have outside. And then the triangle structure and the main post is all stained, kind of a darker walnut stain. And some of the pieces of wood were sticking out of the fins and stuff, so I just touched those up with some white paint and black paint and that sort of thing. Okay, so that is the main structure of the fish, and what I did, I got some pretty hefty duty wheat cloth and I cut them in strips, about 4 strips. So there's 2 strips going this way on top of the fish in between the top fins, and then 2 strips on the bottom in between the main post sort of thing. They're overlapping each other, so the next step was just to get really good soil and make sure it was really moist and watery and stuff like that, and just started feeding that fish. So I just started sticking soil through the hole of the mouth area. That was pretty much the only large hole to start sticking that dirt in, and I just jam-packed it in there and jam-packed it in there until it was just completely full of soil. Okay, then I moved it outside to where it's gonna be, and I started slitting little holes in the squares of the grid system all around the whole body structure. And this is where the fun begins, the planting of rose moss. So I ordered some yellow and orange and yellow and orange and white, and I mapped out where the white stripes were going to be, and then I just started putting these seed starts in of rose moss in those structures. So it should I should in a couple months have a stripe of white and a stripe of orange and a stripe of white, and then some yellow in there, flowering and stuff like that. So the reason why I chose rose moss is it's kind of like a cactus. It doesn't need a lot of water. It prefers, not a lot of water. And it does really well in this windy, hot climate that we have. And it covers, it's a ground cover, so attaching it to a structure like this, it'll eventually hang down off of the body, and then I'll just get some staples, some pretty long staples, and just reattach those green things that hang off the body to the body. So eventually it'll be all this luscious green with beautiful rose moss flowers. So that is how I made this topiary fish. Thanks for watching, and just keep swimming, and check out my other videos. I want to do more gardening stuff like this. It was so much fun. Like, I'm thinking of all the different creatures I could build. So please subscribe so I can do more like that. So thanks for watching. Bye.